Diane, I'm listening to a podcast, Black Lodge Trivia Night. I've never heard so many game aspirations in my life. All right, welcome back to Black Lodge Trivia Night. I am Art. I am obviously here solo down Matt and Patrick. They are going to be performing on Dick Clark's Rockin' New Year's Eve, and they decided to make a whole weekend out of it. Spend a little time in the Big Apple. I like rockin'. I like New Year's Eve. I'm 10 miles from the Big Apple, but would have been nice to been asked. So what I'm going to be doing here while they're off doing that, although, you know, they're going to be doing some kind of like No Doubt style. I don't know if that's really for me, but I wish them the best. We're back with some more Call of Cthulhu. I was going through the video last time just to do a little bit of prep for this, and I very distinctly said, you know, by the time I get back to this, I'm not going to remember anything. That's even made more so by the fact that I reinstalled Windows in between this session and the first one, and I failed to back up the right folder with my campaign in it because I guess I didn't fully understand how this works. So I got the basic stuff set up. My notes, though, are gone. So if you remember last time, I think the beats of the story were we had a friend at our university arrested in Greece and asked us for some help. We made a big stink, threatened to resign, got our ticket paid for, I guess, and hopped on a boat to go to Athens. So we did a few things in the local area, did a little research, went by the guy's boarding house, and might have found some information there that now I'm not going to remember. Then we hopped a train down to New York, spent a little time researching there in the library, picked up a few books, which that I did get. English Greek phrase book, The Worst Journey in the World, and With Lake in the Antarctic. Then hopped on a boat. While we were on the boat, we were just doing normal boat shit. But then we started to realize there were two people, I think they looked Egyptian, that were following us. And eventually, while we were watching a movie on the ship, we were attacked and actually kind of narrowly escaped with our life. Had to blow a lot of luck to get by them. Had no weapons on me to fight back. One guy was slightly incorporeal, I think, so that would have been bad. And eventually, and once we did that, we were sort of put under, I think, the captain's protection or some form of that, or we just holed up in our room, and made it to Athens. So we're on entry 173, which is when we arrive on to Athens. If you remember correctly, a lot of this game is about time management. So I've got the calendar up. It's 1931, September 14th. That's when we arrive in Athens. So a lot of it is about, like, you know, you have to spend 2 hours a day eating, you have to spend 8 hours a day sleeping, and it's making sure you check those boxes while you go through the sort of choose your own adventure style story. So let's just get into it and see how far we get. I'm sort of trying to, I had some other technical issues trying to get this set up. Basically, I needed to redo an OBS profile and scene. When I was like, oh, I'll just plug this in and get ready to go. And I was all set to go last night, and I realized none of it was going to work. So hopefully this does. I'm sort of looking at OBS up there. It seems to be okay so far. So get a picture up. Again, if you remember, this is also going to be in Fantasy Grounds. Last time I talked about Fantasy Grounds a bit. I don't know if all my information was 100%, but it's a VTT that I very much enjoy using, but I also very much admit to the fact that it's got quirks, UI interface issues, whatever, that some people might find something they're not willing to deal with. I genuinely really like it, but it's obvious that VTTs that came after it may have improved in certain areas that I don't know if Fantasy Grounds will ever be able to do, given how it's built. For instance, like, I can't pop a window out and stick it over here outside of this footprint. At the same time, I like the idea that the footprint sort of mimics a table. If you remember the dice there, that's like a dice tray. That's how you make the dice roll count. I don't need it, but there was like a dice tower that you can set up in the corner, and that's how you do like blind GM rolls. Good stuff like that. So, you got the dice customization because I did not reset that. It's a dumb thing. It doesn't matter. Green's my favorite color. Dark green. So there we go. I want my dark green dice, and now I have them. It's that simple. Okay. So here we are. We've got a picture. It says a skybound view of Boreas. If arriving by boat, approaching the coast, you see that it is similar to that of New England, with oddly shaped inlets, gulfs, and headlands. But New England is cool, moist, and green. Here, luxurious golden warmth pervades everything. The Greek Republic, only 7 years old, totters. Oh, right. Because again, it takes place in 1931. Totters under the hardships of the worldwide depression. The people are eager for tourists, as foreign money is much needed. Your ship docks at the gaily decorated harbor at Boreas. Higher up in the hills beyond, Athens gleams beneath the midday sun. Many black automobiles bear the word taxi, hand-lettered on their sides. If you decide to take a cab to the Bureau of Investigations, go to 130. Otherwise, go to any Athens location. There you go. Yeah, not that this matters at all. Athens is one of the few European cities I've been to. It's lovely. Greece, when I went, you get off at the airport and then it's very, it reminds me of how I picture parts of like California, sort of, it felt kind of dry, hot, I don't want to say it was like a desert, but it was more of that sort of brownish, color to the landscape around Athens, like getting to the airport, getting from the airport into the city itself. Let's see. So there's a couple different places we can go. Let's see if we can expand this down a little bit. Leaving for New York. We're not doing that. Athens locations table. This is what I was looking for. Let's see where we can go. The Athens Bureau of Investigation is probably where our friend is being held. Hotel is always open. So this guy, if you remember, our character is Louis Grunwald. He is I think a professor. He's a professor because he taught Lydia Lau and Devon Wilson. He's not poor. Usually, if you got like where's the skills? One of the skills is a credit rating. 35. He's got cash on hand. He's got like $2,200. That's not bad. So I think what I would do is let's say it's not 12 a.m. If you remember, it's hard to, how do I, again, this is like one of those things, like I just want to type the number and I can't because the pop-up comes up, so I can't quite see what I'm doing. But I remember I was use the control key plus mouse scroll wheel to adjust. That's what it is. Okay. So you can't really see. We'll make it 9 a.m. when we get in. I don't know if that actually makes sense. It doesn't seem to specify when we get in, so I'll just make it in the morning. Let's say we did a breakfast on the ship before we got off, so that's one of our meals we have to eat. Spend 2 hours a day eating. That's a requirement. 8 hours a day sleeping. And so I don't think I would beeline straight for the Bureau of Investigations. I've got my stuff with me. I really want to make sure I get a handgun. I don't know if there's going to be like just that kind of stuff out there, but we'll have to see how it goes. So let's go to a moderate hotel. New York Sun. Okay, that's the newspaper. Parthenon, of course. Cafe. Let's see this. Spiro Outfitter and Supplier. So let's start by going to the Moderate Hotel. I think every time you travel, you have to spend like an hour to get there. So the hotel offers a clean room and a quiet night of sleep. If you spend a second night here, go to 26. Otherwise, go on to Athens or Egypt. Okay, so let's say we're going to go there and we're going to check in. That's going to make it 10 a.m. Yeah, let's just shove that over there for now. The location table is what I need more. Okay. Okay, so the Moderate Hotel. So we check in there, and then after we go there, let us stop by the Outfitter, 8 a.m. to noon. So yeah, it's 10 a.m. So they're going to be open. Athens location. This is what we're looking for. The retailer accepts currency from any country. You can buy most items. You can also buy hand-to-hand weapons or handgun. Then go to any location on the... Yeah. Does it actually do anything? It's just a locations table. Okay. So we need to buy a handgun. We need to get strapped, as Louis Grunwald would say. Let's see if it's located here. Does it break it down? Oh, it does break it down by firearms. That's a little bit of a... 32... Do we swing for the automatic? 38 automatic. Just like your classic gun. Let's grab one of those. I don't know if it lists the costs. But we're going to go to our inventory. We're going to grab a 38 automatic. Sorry, a revolver. There we go. Again, I'm not seeing the price. On some level, who cares, right? So, who cares? 15 yards, number of attacks, shots. We're not gonna, I think the Alone Against the Dark might have some like stripped down combat rules, so we'll see how it goes. I honestly, I'm not terribly interested in like doing the process of combat like in a solo style adventure like this, but we'll see how it goes. So we got a handgun. So yeah, we arrived at 9, spent an hour checking in. Now we need to spend another hour getting to the store. Now that we've done that, there's a good chance we could go to the Bureau of Investigation, but they're going to close when we get there. That's a thing in a lot of like Mediterranean countries. It was true of my time in Greece. In the middle of the afternoon, everything shuts down. When my wife lived in Spain, same thing, everything shuts down. So we might then... Can we get food? Are there other places we could go? Athens Harbor, Hall of Justice, Bureau of Investigation. Museum's going to shut down. Newspaper. Is that just buying the newspaper because it's available 24 hours a day? Or let's go to, you know what? Let's, what we're going to do is we're going to get some food near the Parthenon and eat it at the Parthenon if we can. Let's see. A small fast food stand occurs in every city. Hot dogs, falafel, and so on. Then roll a D10. Okay, if it's a 10, go to entry 12. Ooh, I'm curious if like the food's not good and you get sick, like you gotta get knocked down for a day. So we're gonna say that we got some food near the Parthenon and spent the downtime there. It's gonna be blazing hot in the middle of the... Oh no, yeah, September, it would be pretty hot. Majestic... Oh, it's too bad there's no picture. There's also a Parthenon in Nashville, Tennessee for some reason. Another city I've lived in. And I lived near the Parthenon in Nashville for a year or so and go past it all the time inside a nice park. when they have like their, every 17 years, like locust plague kind of insect swarm. The park was just a bed of dead bugs. Anyway, the majestic temple columns glow golden yellow in the setting sun. Deepening to blue as you clamber across the rubble to reach the lonely inner court. The beauty of the scene somehow oppresses you, and gradually you sink into your own thoughts. As you ponder the suicide of I thought Glier was the guy we were supposed to coming to. I didn't think he killed himself. You know what? I'm a little. I don't really care. I'm just gonna. Let's go to Bureau of Investigation. We'll say, we get there. Whatever. Who cares? We'll swap it around so we get the gun. We get the gun after we go to the cops. How about that? The bureau is open from 9 till noon and 2 to 6. You quickly locate the office of the investigator in charge of Glier's case, Corporal Ilionis. After a few pleasantries, his words stun you. Sir, I regret to inform you that Professor Tibor Glier is dead by his own hand. He has hanged himself. Perhaps he was too ashamed of his theft of the Carpathos device from the museum. We do not know. But yes, a suicide. A sad end. Your mind reels. You have come all this way to no purpose. You cannot believe that Glier would end his own life, even though his career was in jeopardy. Is Ilionis positive? You suspect foul play? No, that is not reported. The pathologist found signs of self-mutilation, common enough with suicides. What? Oh, the doctor is vacationing in Switzerland. He will not be back for weeks. The corporal considers for a moment. You can see Glier's cell, I suppose, unless someone new has been moved in. He was held at the Hall of Justice. If you can make a successful persuade or charm roll, Ilionis allows you to use his name at the Hall of Justice. If you want more information from him, go to 204. If you ask about getting a Greek interpreter, go to 170. When done here, you can go to any of the locations. Okay, so I did put some points into persuade. I don't know if it's a good enough skill for me to go for it, but let's take a look. My persuade is a 55. What was the alternative? Charm. 15. Okay. Okay. Again, this is something I think I mentioned in the first. Sometimes with like older school D100 systems, I feel like they might pile on the skills a little too much. Like, could charm... I know charm and persuade are not always the same thing, but is it that important to have two? But let's try a persuade roll. We're going to just... Yeah, we'll do straight roll, double click. Rolled a 7, so that's going to be an extreme success. So, we can definitely use Ilionis's name. And then what I'm going to do is, because it's an extreme success, I'm definitely going to go get more information from him. If it makes me roll, I'm just going to give it to myself because of that extreme success. Like, somehow I've persuaded the shit out of him. I don't know if I'm like holding photos of him over a dead body, like, oh, we know about this. But somehow, yeah, like, he's going to be willing to talk to me. Okay. So we asked to see Ilionis' report. It says that Glier refused to talk freely, but that he made libelous statements about museum director Isistrato. So now, one thing I think I remember is that there were artifacts in the museum. One person wanted to hold on to him. One person was willing to loan him out to the United States, I think in New York. One of them is dead. I think the person who wanted to hold on to him and not share died, maybe mysteriously. I think that was a series of events. And then the person who came into that position, I think was the one that was more friendly to loaning out the artifacts, but I can't remember which way. And that he pleaded that the Carpathos device not be sent to Cairo. So maybe that's the thing. Maybe the new guy, is willing to share it because he's saying like, please don't. It also notes that Glier demanded protection even while he was in his cell. go to 40. But yes, very strange. Professor Gliere first stealing that device, then taking his own life. I wish I could tell you more. Carpathos device is mysterious. No one knows its true nature. Perhaps the scholars at the National Museum can tell you about it. If you can make a successful int roll, go to 21. If you fail, return to 204. I think my guy is pretty smart. Hopefully this goes well. If it doesn't, at least it hopefully won't take too much luck to... Nope, it's fine. Okay. So that was a hard success. Okay. Let's see. Go to 21. If you fail... Okay, so I think this probably was meant to be 21, and then they accidentally put the same... Can I edit that? Yeah, so let me go here to the story. I'm going to go to 21. Nope. One more. Just curious if I can... Working with journal, like, it's usually pretty simple. Like, I can just drag this. Maybe not. Oh well. Let's clear this up. Lock it again. But yeah, usually I found like the journal's pretty decent. Like I was saying, the hotbar might be one of the best in the business. But let's go to entry 21. And the Carpathos device, you ask, was it returned to the museum? He shakes his head. Oh no. It was scheduled to be sent to the National Museum in Cairo for a special exhibit. The device may be Egyptian, you see. Those plans were not changed. If it is September, go to 128. If it's October or later, go to 174. I feel like my mic is drooping. Hold on one sec. Okay, hopefully it stays up now. Again, happens to a lot of people our age. Let's see, it's September, so we're going to go to entry 128. It's on a ship right now, bound for Cairo. Okay. So it hasn't gotten there yet. Go to 204. 204 is going to take us back to here. All right. Okay. Let's see. When you return to this entry from 40, succeeded a psychology roll and go to 226. Again, psychology is something that I've some points into. Psychology is going to be a 50, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this, again, because I'll do the roll, but I'll make it a bonus, which means, again, I'll roll 3d10, and whichever of the tens place works better for me, that's the one I go with. So luckily, I did that, again, because I got the, extreme success earlier, so I got the 35. Is that how I should have handled it? Who knows? I'm just making most of this stuff up. Okay, so we will now go to 226. The corporal is friendly but nervous. You can tell that he's unconvinced by the death report. Something scares him, but he only mutters that he is glad the Carpathos device has left the country. Succeed with a fast talk or persuade roll and go to 248. Fail. And again, I'm going to do the same thing because, again, I got such a right off the bat. Super roll for an extreme success, which in this case it wouldn't have mattered. And I don't know, this is something I've often done incorrectly, I think, with Mithras, where because the VTT will give you the range of results, I'll often say like, oh, you would have succeeded on but that's not the same thing. That's just saying like, had this been an extreme difficulty, you would succeed. It's not saying necessarily that you got like a critical success. So but whatever. Okay. Yeah, so we did a persuade roll, go to 248. Sir, says Leonis, I've told you all I know. You must go. All that's left are rumors, and they're better obtained at the Piostos Cafe. You skulk the hallways of the bureau for a while and find nothing. Go to 131 for a taxi. Okay. So so what we'll do is like, as he, sort of is like, sir, I've told you all, he sort of, puts like the, be back in an hour kind of sign up, and I go to the taxi, and then that's when maybe I skip the food and just go spend some time. Okay, we can close that. We'll get the gun at some point, whatever. The harbor, what do we got here? The store, you can probably close that. Locations table. So I'm going to assume that the cafe is closed again. Oh, 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. daily. Okay, so this will be open. So let's go here before we go to... No, we'll go to the location. We'll go to the Parthenon. Sort of stunned by, maybe we have plans to go to the cafe, but, we're overwhelmed by the death of our friend. And so we decide, you know what? Let's just take a moment. Let's collect our thoughts. And so, again, the majestic temple, yada, yada, yada. As I ponder the suicide of Gliere, a scream abruptly brings you to the present. Cries seem to come from nowhere. Suddenly you are aware of your isolation and vulnerability in the deepening gloom. Try and hide, go to 14 if you decide to sneak away, 18 if you decide to stroll away casually, go to 19. What is... stealth is not good. Brewer, what do I do? So, under certain circumstances, I might try to fly casual and sneak out that way, like in the most sort of obvious, hide in plain sight. Since I've already been attacked, I'm a little nervous. I'm gonna try and sneak away. I don't want to stick around. I want to get away from here. At first you move silently, cunningly evading the ghastly, lifeless figures which shuffle across the court in search of you. Then you clumsily kick a loose stone that clatters across the court. All the terrifying figures turn towards you. I gotta say, I might have put a roll in there, like just to be like, tough shit, you failed. Let me just see what happens if you did 14. So here's the same thing. It's like, tough shit, you're found. Curious what happens if I just strolled away. Yeah, it's the same thing. Okay, so they want you to do a climb. Yeah, my climb is not good. It's not good. Ooh, not even close. For a second there, it looked like I was going to get lucky. I do not have the luck to get that down to a 20. Which is not going to happen. Okay, so let's go to 27. This might be it. Something grabs you. Make a strength roll. If successful, you tear from the grasp and escape. If failed, and a second thing grabs you. Their combined strength is 140. Okay, sure. Okay, so strength roll. Like, strength is one of those things where I was like, I'm surprisingly good at. $62. Whew, I thought it was going to be 82. That I would have had to spend the luck on. But because it's a 62, I'm good. And so yeah, something grabs you, make a strength roll. If successful, you tear from the grasp and escape to 33. Okay, so we've escaped. Trembling with fear, you reel down the road from the Parthenon. It's entry 14 and 18. Oh, that's sort of taking you from where you just came from, right? Okay. Trembling with fear, you reel down the road from the Parthenon. You spy a lone figure ahead, a white-haired old man who uses a walking cane. You babble a warning in English, supposing that the alarm alone in your voice will be enough to dissuade him from going closer to the horrors lurking in the Parthenon behind you. To your surprise, he answers in English. His voice is slow, but it inspires your confidence. Fear no more, he says. Tonight the stars themselves bind those things to the top of the sacred hill. We have nothing to fear here. Your terror begins to lift like a veil. Your friend was killed by one of those creatures. You see them in museums, looking like stuffed animals. Undead? Ghouls? Who knows their origin? Your friend Glier saw them just before they killed him. That is as much as you and I need know. He pauses. Our lives, we struggle in darkness. We are poor beings who need the darkness in order to find the light. As he says these words, the moon breaks through the clouds and a calm beauty pervades the world. Your fears are quenched, your heart utterly at peace. I've been on quests like yours. I've been a scholar of the unusual. I know the uncertainties and terrors. There's nothing we mere mortals can do but strengthen our faith and struggle against the darkness. The two of you walk away slowly. I do not know what Glier had discovered, but I do know that while in prison, he told someone that if the Carpathos device was returned to its home, life as we know will cease to exist. He turns to you. I am at the end of my life. It is up to you to stop this evil, as your friend attempted so valiantly. Egypt is the answer. Go there, find the Carpathos device, return it to the sea, or destroy it utterly. He takes something from his hand. It is a ring heavy with gold, curiously made, covered with signs. Most prominently, a 5-pointed star with a core of flame. I give you this. It has power, though perhaps not as much as you would want. Use it against the dead things brought back to existence. All right. For a moment, a friendly hand has steadied you and restored your resolve. This warmth of feeling is what you fight for, and the numbing terror which chased you from that hill is what you despise. When you look up again, your new friend is gone, the road is empty, the encounter was like a dream. But the ring is still there. You slip it on a finger, it fits firmly and comfortably, reaching the bottom of the hill. You find a cab and go to a hotel. You sleep peacefully. Okay, so yeah, we'll just call that a day. Whatever. Maybe the death of our friend really hit us hard so that it, we just didn't go like, tay, shake it off and, we're on to the next part of the story. Maybe we really needed a day to absorb, contemplate, figure out what are we going to do, et cetera, et cetera. So, okay. We're going to make it now the 15th. We're going to make it, say, 9 a.m. We'll say that we have breakfast at the hotel. And, yeah. So there's things we need to do. We know we need to go to Egypt. Let's figure out how that works. We'll swing by a location table. We're going to need to check on the harbor. Harbor and rail station. Okay, here we go. Oh, this is going to be tricky. Okay, so if leaving Athens, a steamer departs for Alexandria every Tuesday and Friday and arrives exactly 24 hours later. So we know that the Carpathos device is on a boat, so it's probably already getting there, but maybe it'll still take a little bit of time to set up the exhibit. Who knows? So the question is, do I, with all speed, hop onto the first boat this afternoon to Alexandria, shorting any research we could do in Greece? Or do I sit there and say, like, the things that I'm facing are very serious and a little supernatural. And so I think what I would do in this case is I was like, caution is the better part of valor. Let's plan for that Friday boat at 3 p.m. So let's set up a player note. Boat to Alexandria leaves at 3 p.m. Okay. So we got that player note. So that's the boat we're going to shoot for. In the meantime, we are going to see what we can do and research as much as we can before we head out. So the first thing we need to do is got the tip to go to the cafe. We absolutely have to go there and find out what Glier was talking about. Or Gilray. I don't know how to say it. Okay. We've got this ring. What is this ring? I'm going to mark it down here. I'll forget. Artifacts and books. I'm going to call it an artifact. Call it special gold ring. Okay, cool. Special gold ring versus undead. Suddenly this is a 5e game going on. Okay. So first night in our hotel. Sounds like the second night some business is going to go down, so we'll see. We've already been to the Parthenon. We don't need the harbor yet. We do need... You know what? Forget breakfast at the hotel. I sleep in a little bit, and I go get food at the cafe. The Piosotos Cafe. As you enter the cafe, let's say it's 9 a.m. As you enter the cafe, the thick, acrid tobacco smoke chokes you. The place is filled with laughing, gesticulating dock workers and sailors. If you're here expecting to meet someone, go to 35. We are definitely doing that. Let's see. Looking around, you can approach any of the following. You have Christos. He's probably the interpreter. Greek roll. Do I speak Greek? I know I speak German. Language hieroglyphics. I know I speak Latin. Damn it. Useless. Okay. It truly is a dead language this day. Okay, so we don't have the interpreter because I wasn't thinking about that. I don't have Greek, so let's just expect to meet someone and go from there. Oh, the Englishman at the table. Oh, same entry. Okay. The man is Richard Hawks. He greets you warmly and owes you in some talk, he suggests. Look, I know you're investing Glier's death. I've talked to him once or twice. His death caused quite a stir. Well, to make a long story short, I have some interesting information concerning his crazy theft. I don't have it here, but if you'd like to come back to my apartment, I can show you. If you say yes, 79. If you say no, Hawks suggests meeting you at the Parthenon at sunset. Oh, bitch, I've already been down that rabbit hole. Let's go to his apartment. He's probably going to get us killed, but let's do it. Okay, so we meet him there. So now it's 10 a.m. We get to his apartment. His small apartment is cluttered with books and filled with rich aromas. It is the room of a scholar. Attempt no. Education. Cthulhu mythos. Occult. Spot hidden. Listen rolls. Write down the success or failure of each and then go to 12. Okay, let's go down the line. Okay, so the first one was a no. I feel like, again, I'd be smart. That's going to be an education roll. I've got, 93. Okay, so flip this paper over. Okay, let's do the EDU. With a 93. Got a 51. Okay, the next roll is a Cthulhu Mythos. That one I don't know if I... Yeah, 0. So here's the thing. I guess, can I get the roll low enough? Like if I roll like a 7, let me do that. I'll roll a 7, and then if I get a roll low enough, I could spend luck. Oh, that was almost a 5. At an 85, I can't do it. Okay. At a 5, it would have been a bargain. Okay, so no mythos. Occult, what do I got for that? A 5. 67, nope. And then, spot hidden. That one I think I was decent-ish at. 61. I'm going to spend, you know what? I'm going to spend the luck. Does it tell you spend 11 of your luck? Yes, that's the nice little touch. So let's go do that. So we're down to 17 luck. It's not great. And then finally, a listen roll. That I think I put some points into as well. Listen, 50. 20. Good. Okay. Okay. Write down the success or failure of each and then go to 112. Okay, here we go. If any of your rolls were successful, read the appropriate entry below. If all your rolls failed, go straight to the paragraph after the bullet points. Okay, the Cthulhu mythos or occult, those are both failures. Spot hidden was a success. You see that the stout chair in the center of the room has odd regular notches and grooves in its arms, legs, and back. Add plus 10 percentiles to your intelligence roll for the rest of this entry only. Okay. I'm going to do plus 10 int. Listen roll. I think I got that one. You hear some deep breathing behind a nearby curtain. Add plus 10 to your int. So is that cumulative? I'm going to say it is. So I'm going to make that a plus 20. And my int is also pretty high, so it's going to be quite good. Although there's nothing for the education roll. Unless I misunderstood. Attempt no education. Yeah, I don't see anything for that roll. Okay, so now I need to make an intelligence roll. And I'm going to do it with a... Nope, not that. We can add the 20 down here to my intelligence roll. 27 is going to be... Oh, I did it wrong. Okay, modifier. I didn't want to add 20 to my roll. I wanted to make the target number. Oh, well. Okay. Regardless, I succeed. Make an intelligence roll, adding any bonuses for this entry, if any. If you succeed, you realize you should get the hell out of there. From behind the curtain, a hand suddenly reaches out for you. Successful dodge. Like, what's the point of realizing it and then still having to do the dodge? So what happens if you fail? Okay, if you fail the dodge or the intelligence roll, the heavy breather grabs you and shoves you into the chair. The one with the odd grooves and notches. You hear the sharp sounds of releasing springs and metal bands wrap around your arms and legs, holding you tight to the chair. There's nothing you can do. How foolish you were to have trusted this strange man you've only just met. Oh, now the heavy breather steps around so that you can see him clearly. You see dry, leathery skin, portions of which flake away as he moves. The eyes are hollow, inhuman. Hawk sniggers and introduces you to Ahmed, who Hawk says is nearly 3,000 years old and who is very, very hungry. You are wild-eyed and the sound of Hawk's maniacal laughter screams in your ears. Ahmed's mouth opens slowly and he leans toward your helpless body. You see that his teeth are long, yellow, and very sharp. Your screams fill the room, but no one comes to save you. It is the end. All right, so we have lost our first investigator. Grunwald is no more. So this is the interesting thing. So, like, you know, the success thing says if you go through like 13 investigators, there's no way in hell I'm rolling up like investigators to do it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of rotate them. So Grunwald is gone. So now what I need to do is pick the next character. So let me figure out how this works. Again, I could go to story. Whoops. And go to the entry. And see if there is something on how to do this. So what I'm going to do, because what we might have to do is we might have to sort of reboot like the next character. I've just got to figure out, how do I know which one to do? Or does it matter? Luck points, about time, food, sleep, combat, optional investigators. Okay, you always start with Professor Grunwald, but it might not matter after that. So on page 5 of the book, it says 4 ready-made investigators are included. There's always 150 points to spend. Yeah, let's just pick a new one. I don't think I set up the pictures because I didn't know. I guess I didn't expect Grunwald to just bite it 45 minutes into this session for some reason. I don't know why. Okay, so we've got one investigator down. Let's make a note out of that. This time I'm not going to reinstall Windows and delete it. So where do we do this? Character skills. No, that's for character creation. Campaign. Player notes. Here we go. Investigate toward deaths. One. Okay. So now we have to pick our next investigator. We've got Grunwald, Devin Wilson, Ernest Holt, Lydia Lau. So let's see who these people are. Devin Wilson, short hair, clean shaven, smart and tidy, boyfriend to Lydia Lau, who was taught by Louis Grunwald. Who's a former... Okay, I don't think he'd be taken off yet. I think it'd be one of his students. So I think these two are going to be his students. Clean shaven, receding hairline, prominent eyebrows. Friends with Louis Grunwald and Lydia Lau before retiring from the Navy. Was Devin Wilson's commander, okay. And Lydia Lau. So the order I think I like these in is Lydia, teacher, I think this is her teacher. Okay. So I think the way I like this narrative going is Lydia's like, hey, you know, has anybody heard from Grunwald? And then she's going to do her thing. And then if she falls into danger, her boyfriend would be like, oh shit, you know, my babe is in trouble. And then if something happens to him, he's like, you know, that fine young man I used to command seems to have gotten himself tangled into something. So I feel like the progression I'm going to go is Lydia, then Devin, and then Ernest. So let's start with Lydia. She's up next. Let's see how this works. I don't know how this starts. So we've lost our first one. So the best we can possibly do is an excellent success. Oh, we need to spend 150 points. Let's take care of that. What is she good at? Skills. So they tell you in one of these tips and hints, I think. I thought they told you skills that were useful. And I don't know. The investigators. Okay, the following skills can be useful. Climb, charm, fast talk, fighting, firearms, history. Stealth throw. I'm going to make her... We're going to spend 150 points now that I definitely know how to do it. Does she have handgun? She does. I'm going to give her 20 points in that. She's fast talk, so we're going to give her 20 in that. I'm going to make her have some climb. 30 in that, so she's a good, decent climber. Stealth. I want it to be stealthy. So we're at 50. I'm going to make her a 70. Library use can always be useful, right? Let's put 10 into that. Listen, let's put 15 into that. That makes it a coin flip. Spot hidden is always good. 10. She's really good at that. She's good at stealth, spot hidden. Throw is interestingly enough marked as one that's useful. Let's put... We're approaching our limit though. I feel like I should make listen... So she's good at stealth, spot hidden, listen. She's not going to intimidate anybody. She's a good fast talker. Copywriting. That seems like it could be like forgery. And let's see. What was the other one? Stealth. Did I pick throw? I didn't. Library use, did I do that? I did a little bit, but not a lot. Psychology, what's their psychology? Okay, let's bump that up 10. That'll get us up to 50. There's our 150 points. And yeah, let's jump in. So now we just got to figure out handouts, the investigators. Lydia Lau. Oh, right. Yeah. So I think the reason why you get that error message, I actually don't know. But one of the things you can do is you can import the investigators into the module. And when I did that, it shows up in this character list, and then you don't get the errors when you... So maybe there's some connection there as to why that error pops up. So now what we need to do is we need to know, like, where do we start? Was it entry 13? This was the entry for Grunwald. What do we do if it's somebody else? Okay, here we go. Order of play for investigators. Okay, it even says, like, when you finish a series with 4 investigators, turn back the clock. Grunwald's initial starting position is always September 1st, and try again. Oh, I see. So the idea is that you just start over. Investigators succeeding Professor Grunwald begin in play at stated amounts of time following the death of the preceding investigator, and the order of play does not change. Okay, so I've got to go with Ernest Holt. Okay, sorry about that. So she's set for whenever she comes up, but I apologize. Apparently, here in the getting started section, it does break down the order you're supposed to do. So we're going to do Ernest Holt. Friends with Grunwald. Okay, I could see that making sense. Skills. Let's get him going. Okay. So again, the skills that can be useful. Are the investigators. We'll pull that up again. Okay, so he's good with firearms. Let's put some more points into there. He's good with intimidate. Let's put some more points into there. Gonna lean into his strengths, basically. Law, library use, listen. Let's put 20 into there. Let's make that at least a coin flip. Psychology, let's put 20 into that. Spot hidden's always good. Let's put another 15 to make What are we up to? 75? Let's make that a 20. Throw. Let's make that 30. Why not? He's really good at throwing for some reason. Language, German. Dodge would have helped before. Let's put all of our points into that. Okay. Yeah, that's good enough, right? Ernest Holt's up. Ernest Holt is going to start on entry 36. Ernest Holt's apartment. Oh, I see. They're right there. Okay. All right. We're ready to pick this up now with our new investigator. Pull up a picture because I did not add it to the thing. Here we go. Something's wrong. You learned long ago to trust your hunches. Grunwald's telegram stopped without explanation 72 hours ago. Your inquiries have gone unanswered. Should you alert your agents scattered across the globe? Judiciously sipping superb brandy, at last you decide against the employment of proxies. Grunwald hinted of mysteries beyond the capacities of mere assistants. You trust his judgment and decide to go yourself. You scrawl instructions to subordinates and dictate phone messages to his secretary, whom you have callously woken up from sound sleep. Your holdings will tend themselves for a few weeks. Your passport is in order. You'll pull strings to get an assortment of visas overnight. Mere governments cannot keep Ernest Holt from aiding a friend. A liner sails soon. Jenkins can have you packed and ready to go in an hour. You have plenty of time. It's a pity your experimental transatlantic passenger plane isn't quite ready, though that would be fun. You find yourself eagerly anticipating action in the field. You feel ready for anything. This guy packing heat? He is packing lots of heat. I don't know if he's going to be able to strap a 12-gauge shot. Well, maybe he can. Like, you put it in your trunk and nobody looks at it. So I think that this guy's got money. This guy has got money. It's not a bad brawler. It's not the best. 55 luck. What is he good at? He's big. Pretty smart. Pretty educated. He's very smart. A little dexterous. Not super strong, though. Not bad looking. Okay. Okay. Let's see how it goes. You call Lydia Lau at the New York Sun, a despicable rag of a newspaper, but a crackerjack young lady with lots of talent. Miss Lau has heard nothing from Grunwald. You notice her professional interests grow as you talk, and you ask her to write nothing for a few days. I'm sure this is a proper explanation, you say grandly, but somehow you know that neither of you believes that statement. Now you sleep. You'll attend to any details tomorrow when you awake. Go to any New York location. Okay, so we're going to start in New York. One last look at Ernest Holt. And now we start. New York location. Is that part of the story? New York taxis. That might get us close. New York locations. There we go. Okay. So let's pull up the calendar. Grunwald was killed on Tuesday the 15th. So let's see, what is it for 72 hours. So 15, 16, 17th. So let's make it the 18th. It's Friday the 18th. That's when Grunwald was planning to get on a boat to go to Alexandria. He never got on the boat. Maybe that's part of the thing, you know, like he said, like, hey, I'll be getting on a boat, blah, blah, blah. Never hear from him once he gets to the other side. That triggers Let's make it a Monday then. That triggers Holt's interest. It's the 21st. Let's swing by. Let's swing by the Greek consulate. We'll be like, hey, bitches. That's how Ernest Holt talks. They advise you, okay, so concerning Greek criminal matters, they advise visiting the Athens Bureau of Investigation upon arrival. Okay. All right. Maybe he swings by the... Maybe he wants to talk to Lydia. Okay, so that sort of fills you in on the oft-delayed Starkweather-Moore expedition to the Antarctic nears completion, with a late December departure now virtually certain. Bremerhaven, Germany, will be the expedition's jumping-off point and its last European port of call. An American professor, Dr. Tibor Glier of Miskatonic University's been arrested. Miskatonic's Dean Wilcox reports that a colleague, Professor Louis Grunwald, has gone to the Athens to investigate the matter for the university. If it's after September 8th, it is definitely after September 8th. Professor Glier's suicide has shocked and saddened the Miskatonic academic community. No word has yet come from Professor Grunwald. It's not after October 15th. Okay. So we're able to put together from these, like, something's going on there, and the fact that we're not hearing from our friend is concerning. The Carpathos device has arrived safely in Cairo for an extended display. Karato Ahmet Ke is reported as thrilled to have it on loan. If it's November or later, otherwise go to any New York location. Okay. All right, so the Carpathos device has arrived in Egypt, and we have not heard from our friend. Let's go to the let's figure out when we can leave. Liner departs each Saturday at noon, reaching Athens. Okay, so we can't leave until the 26th. Like, so let's see. Grunwald disappeared on the 15th, I think. Right, because he was at the Parthenon the next day. That's when he died. So then 72 hours. Yeah, you know, you know what, let's just say he stopped by the newspaper on his way to the... Let's not drag this out. Okay, so we get on a boat. It's the 19th. We are going to... Let's see. The Cunard liners are truly luxurious. When you aboard the liners, suspend hourly record keeping, but keep track of days. Okay, so let's hop on the boat. It's going to take 9 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's mark that down as arrive in Greece. We're going to Greece because that's where we last heard of our friend. So we'll do this. Okay, so on the first Sunday... So, man, like, So do they just, like, is there any other way to do this? Here's my problem. I just don't want to repeat the whole exact same story. First Sunday, let's go to 73. We'll skip the ship tour. Yeah, I don't want to do this again. First Monday. Let's see. It's again, like you're going to be chased. Like how many times is it, like, are these people just ferrying back and forth on the, on an ocean liner trying to pick off anybody that comes to investigate? Like it just feels, I don't want to do any of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to have us arrive just, I don't know what the right way to handle this is, right? But it just seems, I don't know if tedious is the right word, but it just seems like, I think I would have had somebody, like, if this is your second character, skip to this entry, make a quick roll to see if anything happens, get out. Because now what's going to happen is, like, do I show up in Greece and be like, you know, and it just becomes like this chain of events where we just do stupid stuff. You know, it's sort of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? Where like somebody goes into the house, gets murdered, and then the next person goes like, "Hey, Tommy, you there?" And then gets murdered, and the next person's like, "Sue, Tommy, you there?" And then that person gets murdered. Like, I just don't want to do the same thing over and over, and you know, just have them get killed on a boat. Like who cares? And here's the other thing I gotta say, like, you're supposed to start over when you go through all 4 investigators. I have a feeling I will not be doing that. But we'll have to see. Yeah, we'll have to see. So the question is, so I arrive in Greece because I'm not doing any of that. Second Sunday, I'm just looking through. I've already been to 148. I'm just sort of checking. Again, it's going to be a lot of the same things where, like, you know, you're getting chased by the same people. I'm sure you could get killed, but I'm just like, just not interested. So let's just say we arrive in Athens. The other thing I'm curious about is like, let's see, you can see Glier's cell, I suppose. And did they give you an option for that? So I think what would happen is this. I think we would come here. We already know about the suicide. And our real concern now is, so we would go to the Athens Bureau of Investigation. We'd find out that our friend Grunwald did stop by and that this person sent him to... Let's think about this. Let us think about this. So Grunwald had that ring. Didn't give us an option to use it anyway. This is going off the rails a little bit. Let's say Grunwald's body is found. This is not in the adventure at all, but just I feel like this structure might be a little bit too rigid for what it's trying to do with this multi-character run. Unless I'm missing something, I don't feel... Let me double check and make sure I'm not missing something. But I do feel like it needs a few more entries in the beginning to get the next character up to speed. And unless I might be missing it, but I'm not seeing that, and I think it really needs that. So it's not flexible enough in this structure to accommodate the fact that one of the previous characters is gone and how or why. So the only thing it's letting you do is it's letting you repeat the story, knowing certain choices work, certain choices don't, until you get to that exact point. But narratively, that doesn't feel good. So I'm going to have him get here and learn that Grunwald was like brutally murdered. I'm going to have him get the magic ring versus undead. Like, hey, he was your friend. You want his effects. So I'll collect those effects, which are going to be a couple of books and a ring. Can I just copy and paste this? No? Here we go. I can drag it. That's what I can do. That's actually not bad. And there we go. Okay. So we collect his effects, and we're destroyed by the fact that our good friend Grunwald is dead. We send a telegram to Lydia, so she's in the know, and maybe that's gonna put it into the paper. Who knows? Whatever. That's gonna get that started. We asked the guy, like, hey, the fuck happened? And he's gonna be like, I don't know. I did speak to him. I told him to go to the cafe. We're gonna go to the cafe. Let's figure that out. Again, just so we have some kind of narrative through line here that might make sense. Might not. I don't know. Skip the ship. Let's see. Hospital. We don't need tender loving carriage. Was hoping to ask questions, but can't do that. Okay. This guy's loaded. He's going to check into an expensive hotel. This is the best class of hotel. It has 24-hour room service. On your second night here, roll 1d10. Okay, so the first night here, we're fine. We're going to know that we... Yeah, we know that we're good for the first night. And we're going to check in at the paper because, you know, Lydia... So we're going to go... Maybe she's like... we pick up a paper and like, ugh, even here. So... When you browse through the newspaper, you notice 3 items. MacLeod, director of the Cairo National Museum, eagerly awaits the arrival. Okay, it's already there. Okay, the casket bearing Professor Glier, the academic thief from Miskatonic University, has been placed aboard the Urania for New York. A memorial service has been scheduled in Arkham, Massachusetts. The Starkweather expedition nears readiness as the Dark Sea heads for Bremen, Germany. Once there, final preparations include reinforcing the hull for the treacherous journey into the ice floes surrounding Antarctica. If it's after September 15th, which it is, it's now September 27th, go to entry 95. Okay, yeah, the suicide. Of course, the suicide. Yeah, you don't need to put that there. We're already got a bit here about his body being sent back, but okay. So yeah, we're gonna go to the cafe. We're gonna get the interpreter. We're not remotely a linguist that maybe Grunwald was, so we get the interpreter from the Bureau of Investigation. Let's see if we can do let's go see about getting an interpreter. After 1 day, 3 hours of waiting around, Evgenia, an interpreter, is found for you. Yeah, we're going to hire, because again, this guy's loaded. So let's spend 1d 3 hours. Whatever this is, 1, 2 is 1, 2, 3, 3, 4 is 2 hours. Okay. So we got off the boat at 9 a.m. 10 a.m. got us there. It's now noon, so everything's going to close. Except I think the cafe is open the whole time. Oh, wait. No, I need to... Let's see if we can do a persuade roll to use his name. Skill, am I any good at persuade? Or charm? Charm is a 15. I'll try persuade. And I can. Okay. I want to go to the Hall of Justice. Like, look. Friend's missing. You don't seem to know shit. The guy my friend came to look for died by suicide. Everything smells fishy. What's going on in this country of yours? Have you no justice, sir? So, yeah, so we'll eat. That'll get us, we'll go to the cafe. The Pio Sotos Cafe. We have our interpreter. If you have Christos with, who's Christos? We're not expecting to meet somebody, so we're not going to go to 31. Let's try 107 and see what happens. You make out gliere and then a word like strangled. Then the men stop talking and look up at you. To gesture to ask to play, go to 581. Let's try it. They're playing a form of whist. You hope to get information, but your winning streak becomes phenomenal. Soon the fishermen grumble to themselves and stir unhappily. In 20 minutes, you clean out the table. You win a total of $35 in your pockets with small denomination drachma notes. Ugh. I'm not going to add 30. I've got $35,000. I don't need that. Oh, and 35 more. Okay. So here's the thing. Like, what kind of asshole trying to get information? What do I know? I seem to know the game, so maybe there seems like a... I wish there was a way I could have blown that. Okay, so that didn't go well. So let's go to another group, entry 20. For the burly sailors at the bar, go to 105. Gonna say that game took like an hour. 105. The sailors talk about some kind of curse, which they say is leaving Greece. You also hear that the Kionis, an ocean-going motor ship, is for hire. Return to the cafe. Okay. Entry 35 is the guy. Okay, look, I know you're investigating Gliere's death. So we wouldn't be talking about that. He would say... He would say that he met Grunwald. And I don't think I would say yes. I'll say, if you say no, Hawk suggests meeting at the Parthenon at sunset. So we'll do that. And what I'd want to do is I'd want to tail him or figure that out, but that's not an option. Because I'm suspicious. One guy's dead and my friend's gone missing. I'm not going to be like, oh, your apartment? Yes, please. Okay. Okay, so let's, if you say yes, go to 79, you say no, suggest meeting at the Parthenon at sunset. Okay. So what we're going to do is that eats up another hour or whatever. Let's go to the... Not the Bureau of Investigation, the Hall of Justice. Hall of Justice is open. Is it 3 o'clock yet? We'll eat or whatever, say it's 3 o'clock. The Hall of Justice and the King's Court of Appeals are open from 9 a.m. to noon, 3 p.m. to 7 Monday through Friday. So yeah, let's make this Monday. Let's see. Again, Christos, they gave us a different name for the interpreter, so... if Christos is with you, he knows exactly where to go. If you are alone, you spend an hour before you arrive at the right quarter and find the desk sergeant in charge of the jails. Okay, Christos must be a character, but we do have an interpreter. Go to 77. Is there something here that says, like, you're able to mention his name? Your interpreter tells you Gliere hung himself, he killed himself. Yes, his body's been shipped to the United States. Apparently the professor left nothing behind to be recovered. If you can make a successful psychology roll, go to 180. Let's try that. I don't know if I'm good at that. I'm not bad. Okay, we're rolling on a 50. 6. Oh, Jesus. Let's see. If you speak no Greek, but you have an English-Greek phrase book. I do have that, but I don't necessarily need it. So here's the thing. I've got 55 luck. Am I looking to just blow 17 of that right off the bat? That's going to bring me down to like 38. Right? Yeah. If you fail, go to 87. I think I'm just going to go to 87. I think that's too soon to start blowing that sizable of a chunk. So we're back to the Hall of Justice. As you leave, the sergeant seems to remember something. He pulls a letter out of a drawer and gestures that you read it. Go to 539. The thing is, there's nothing here I'm seeing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to click 180. Okay, I was trying to see if that I sort of skimmed the first sentence. We were told we could use this guy's name. I don't know what that buys us. So I don't know how to apply that to what I'm doing here. So yeah. Okay, so let's go to 539. Okay, the sergeant hands you a sheet of paper. Unfolding it, you recognize Glier's tiny, precise script. There's no date, no signature. Dr. Louis Grunwald, Miskatonic University, Arkham, Mass., USA. Dear Louis, I fear it's too late for me. Though with the best of motives, the authorities foolishly apprehended me before I could accomplish destruction of the Carpathos device, and thereby they have re-endangered the world. If, to prevent my further interference, the cult of Athens tries to murder me while I am trapped in this cell, I do not see how they can fail their purpose. This letter, therefore, must convince you of the truth. I tell and relate to you what must be done about it. You must do it or see that it is done, else our world is doomed. Though our discussions have acquainted you with some of what I now write, you have never accepted my arcane conclusions. I beg you now to do so, at least for the length of this letter. What follows in this situation as I understand it. What follows is the situation as I understand it. An Alexandrian-era sorcerer, one Ephegon of Carpathos, was reputed to have constructed a mechanism perfectly replicating the movement of the spheres. According to certain fragmentary evidences, this device was to be sent to Egypt to agents of the notorious cult of Athens. The record is dim. Perhaps it was designed in Egypt and built in Carpathos, but I digress. Once installed in Egypt, the mechanism could be used in great ceremony, presaging the end of the world. It would somehow align the forces of nature with the metaphysical powers of the unnamed, exceedingly evil god. The product of the ceremony would be another device, this one very simple. A crystal octahedron, which could be spun like a child's top. It is the top of Aten, a thing of as great magical power as the device which produced it was a wonder of natural science. By bringing the top of Aten farthest south to the last city of the oldest beings and then summoning their god, the cult intended to use their cosmic gyro to alter the rotational axis of the Earth, thereby bringing a strange land, surely Antarctica, once more to life. In the process, the annoying lands of the stick folk, literally the lands of men, would be destroyed. Let's see. But the ship carrying the device to Egypt was lost in a great storm, and then Ephegon died. The ceremony was never begun. You'll recall the mysteries surrounding the Miskatonic expedition to Antarctica and its tragic outcome. and you know that the Starkweather Moor expedition leaves Bremen this winter to return to Antarctica and reopen the terrible questions which Lake first raised. But have you heard of the Carpathos device, the strange instrument recovered near the island of Carpathos? After examining it, I knew that this was Ephesians' device. Lewis, it is my firm conviction that this tale is true, that a great scheme to change the world has been reactivated by the cult of Aten. Perhaps they employed great magic to manipulate destiny, or perhaps they are exceedingly cunning and evaluate every event for what they may gain of it. But their hour has come round again. Others also believe this. An erudite and cruel man named Stanford has lent me subtle aid, but says that for arcane reasons he may do no more. He's not a friend, but he says that in this thing he serves his God. A kinder, gentler Greek gentleman has also helped. Both seem to represent greater powers than man, perhaps beyond our ken. But the cult of Aten is strong, at least one among them is no man at all, but here the letter ends. There is no second sheet. There is nothing on the reverse of the sheet. As you struggle to digest and evaluate the letter, the guard casually informs you that nothing else of the heirs is now at the prison. Go to any Athens location. So you know what? That's sort of like a big bombshell. So there's like a cult of Aten that's, trying to bring about the end of the world by shifting the rotation of the Earth so that Antarctica thaws out and becomes like a normal continent. I think we're going to stop there. We're going to pause there and pick this up next time with... Also because I sort of want to think about how do I play Holt's progression to the Parthenon. I don't want to just be a repeat of the last time, so let me think about that for a little bit, but let's pause there. So yeah, this has been Black Lodge Trivia Night. I'm Art. This has been Call of Cthulhu's solo adventure Alone Against the Dark, defying the triumph of the ice. I'm still very much enjoying it. I'm starting to see sort of the restrictions in play, then how they sort of... How it's gonna... I don't know if I'm gonna be able to just go with it in the most literal sense. Yeah. We'll have to see how it goes as we get further through the story. But, I don't want to restart. I don't want to redo the boat events every single time. There's just things I don't want to do when I know it's kind of cheating, but again, who cares? It's a solo adventure. But it's Call of Cthulhu 7th edition, Alone Against the Dark, defying the triumph of the ice. This is going to go up after the New Year, so hopefully you had a good New Year, a good holiday season. We appreciate everybody who checks this out. If you're watching this, you've already found our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe if you're enjoying this. Regardless, we appreciate that you check this out. If you prefer audio versions of this, or if you prefer audio versions of our RPG discussion podcasts, just search for Black Lodge Trivia Night wherever we get your audio, and we should show up. If you want to talk about this or CRPGs or other tabletop RPGs or just whatever, you can jump into our Discord channel. We've gotten a couple of games organized through the channel, and hopefully that's something that happens more frequently. They've both been Dragonbane, which it's not that I find that interesting. I'm happy to see it because I love that game. But it's interesting that both times it was Dragonbane. But yeah. Otherwise, we'll be back with more stuff with me, Patrick, and Matt all together now that the holidays are starting to wind down. And we'll hopefully be back into our rotation, which I think I know what Matt's going to be doing because Patrick sort of abdicated on Eat the Reich, if you haven't been following. But I don't 100% know where Matt officially landed. And for me, the rotation is trying to get through the back half of the spy stuff. So yeah, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this. I'm having a good time playing it. And thanks again. Take care. The music during the RPG session in Foundry was provided by the Foundry module Tabletop RPG Music and composed by Ian Fisher. You can find his Patreon at www.patreon.com/tabletop RPG music, all one word.